How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Bernie Sanders rally out there in Nevada that went totally off the rails. Now, this particular incident involved his microphone being taken over by a crazy feminist, vegan, leftist extremist who was in the crowd.
Get him and Chetler, we're shutting this event down now. If you do not listen to her, your event will be shut down right now. Let her speak!
All right, we're
No, not that particular incident. That was actually back in 2015, almost 5 years now. Believe it or not, time flies, but I digress. The point is that this particular rally in Nevada went off the rails. Now, there was a little bit more to this than the microphone being taken over. There were some people that got involved in some nudity. Of course, this will be censored, but you've been warned. Let's go ahead and get into the clip because you got to see it. After we get done with the clip, I'll talk about what was said and done in the clip. I'll give you my 2 cents, my analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Bernie, I'm your biggest supporter, and I'm here to ask you to stop propping up the dairy industry and to stop propping up the agriculture.
Okay, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, I'm not really sure where to begin. I guess the elephant in the room for me would be Bernie Sanders' security or lack thereof. If you have security, sir, you got to tell them to tighten it up because you got people getting on stage. They're taking their shirts off, throwing all kind of substances on themselves. I don't know if that's blood, if it's Kool-Aid, if it's a slushie from 7-Eleven. I don't know what's going on, but regardless of what's happening, all of that shouldn't have been happening on stage while the presidential hopeful, the guy that could be the candidate coming up here pretty soon, is on stage. That's just unsafe. It doesn't make any sense. And it sets a bad precedent for other candidates that are trying to go out there and give their speeches. And I hope nobody tries that with Donald Trump. You know, I was seeing some stuff in 2015 and 16 with some guys trying to get close to the stage, but now he's the president. Secret Service is right there. I don't want to see anybody's head get converted into a convertible. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to see all of this get pushed back in time. But I digress. The point is that the security for Bernie Sanders is not very good and has not been very good for a while. Okay, because you're able to get on stage, get all in this circle. It's just not really a good thing. You know, I'm a Republican voter. I'm not going to vote Democrat at all, but I still want to see everybody be safe. Now, the second elephant in the room is, what was it all about? Okay, they want to protest the dairy industry. Okay, I get it. But why must they get butt naked or take their shirts off? Like, I don't understand the whole point behind that. And then they throw in all kind of liquids on themselves. This is what I was saying in the video about Joe Patrick and Caitlin Bennett being harassed at Ohio University out there in Athens, Ohio. These people gather in the mob, screaming, screeching, throwing water, throwing all kind of stuff, hot coffee, pouring it on Caitlin Bennett. When I see stuff like that, I don't see a brave and courageous anti-fascist or whatever you want to call themselves protester. What I see are a bunch of idiots that are very dangerous that I need to protect myself against. I don't see anything other than that. I don't see whatever cause you're trying to push forward. I don't see none of that. All I see is a bunch of deranged lunatics acting like deranged lunatics. Now, another question I have would be, Bernie Sanders, why do you keep attracting these people to your rallies? What's going on? Why is it that I always see these kind of individuals kind of circling around? And then online is worse. Oh my goodness, the what they call them, the Bernie bros. Man, I seen some stuff. I've seen some really wild tweets from them against anybody. It could be Trump, it could be Hillary, it could be Joe Biden, anybody. It's like, what about Bernie Sanders brings out the worst in people? I don't get it. maybe it's because he's an old guy, 78, and he wants to give you everything. Maybe it could be that spoiling granddaddy type syndrome. You know what I'm talking about. You go over your granddad's house, your grandma's house. You could do whatever you want. You could jump on the bed. You could pour milk on the ground. You can eat all the cookies and ice cream you want, and there will be no consequence. Maybe it's the same thing going on with Bernie. You see him in that same light. I don't really know. I'm kind of like racking my brain here to figure out the reason behind these kind of individuals showing up at Bernie Sanders rallies. I don't really understand. What I do understand is that he has a lot of support. Last I checked, he's like #1 in polling nationwide. Funny enough, I think Bloomberg is like #2 behind him. I thought he was racist according to the left, but I digress. The point is that Bernie is doing very well. Biden is like way far behind, like #3, 4, 5. He pretty much is like off of the end of the debate at this particular point. He might as well go ahead and drop out. He might win South Carolina, Joe Biden that is, but he won't do very well in South Carolina, according to what he was polling like 3, 4 months ago. But we'll move on. Bernie is the top dog right now and has been for a while. So if he's going to be the guy going forward, that's going to cause a problem for the Democratic Party, a big problem. The DNC does not want him. That's why, in my humble opinion, they screwed him out of the nomination in 2016. All these coin tosses going for Hillary Clinton, like 6 in a row. What are the odds of that? I don't know, but we'll move on. I think they wanted him to get out of the race, get out of the way, so they could put a person that appears to be more moderate in Hillary Clinton in there to keep the party on track. Because if Bernie gets a nomination, although he'll lose in dramatic fashion, that'll drive the party all the way far to the left. So the AOCs of the world, the Ayanna Presleys, Ilhan Omar, Jayapal, etc., they'll all be empowered by Bernie Sanders running for president. You see AOC out there in the campaign trail. You see the whole squad basically take over the Democratic Party, although they'll still lose the national election. So I think they'll try to get Bernie out of the way, but then what are they going to do? Try to defend Mike Bloomberg, talking about stopping and frisk, all that and the third? That's going to be very interesting. I still don't understand the reason why people just fall apart and can't keep it together when Bernie's out there campaigning. I've even heard about people going to therapy because of Bernie Sanders. Like, why are you going to therapy because of Bernie? What is the problem? What is the big deal? I don't understand. You know, I'm a politics guy. I'm immersed in it, and I don't have any kind of need for therapy. I'm enjoying what's happening. I like the left, the right, the back, and the forth. I like all of that stuff. But people are having a really hard time dealing with Bernie. They might go to therapy, they might break down, or they might go out there on stage, snatch off their shirt, release their breasts, and do whatever they want to do. It's kind of weird, but hopefully they just tighten up and get the security right. Because like I said, if you try it with Trump, that's not going to be a really good day for you. And if you try it with Hillary, if she comes out there as vice president for Mike Bloomberg, that definitely won't be a good idea for you. We know how she gets down, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that there's a problem with Bernie Sanders supporters that makes them go out here and behave this way? Online, they're really bad. In person, they're really bad. What's going on? Is it Bernie or is it something else? You tell me. Do you think that I'm correct in saying that it's a bad precedent to set? Because if you do it with Bernie, you're going to try it with others, and it might not end well for you for others. And the security, what's going on with that? Are they trying to have this whole thing happen? Is it for PR purposes, to get some attention, to get some notoriety on Twitter? I have a hard time believing that, but what's really going on? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.
I have speech!